helping you in the squeeze of the recession. You've heard the thousands of Americans hit by home foreclosures. Well, is the next chapter now people losing their cars because of car loans? Melody Hobson's going to be here to tell you all about it. But first, this is one couple's story.
Your trade plus $50 and you're driving.
It sounds like a great deal.
Pay off your trade no matter what you owe.
Take your car in, trade up to something better. Cindy and Stephen Gerhardt bought into ads like that.
Well, we don't have that much left. What else do you want to pay?
Now they've got a problem.
We got another collection notice.
What's happened to the Oklahoma couple is they've gotten themselves on a trade-in treadmill. It's costing them a bundle.
We pay over $1,000 a month in car payments.
Which is more than our mortgage payment.
$400 more.
Cindy pays almost $600 a month for her SUV, and Stephen nearly the same for his pickup truck. The high payments have less to do with the interest they're paying on the car loans and more to do with their history of trade-ins.
The trading is the vicious cycle. It really is, and that's what got us in this boat in the first place.
Cindy has traded in 3 cars in 5 years. Stephen has traded 4 cars in 3 years. Each time they upgraded to a newer vehicle, but since they traded in before their cars were paid off, the debt from the old cars was simply added on to the new loans.
Every time that we traded in a vehicle, we thought we were doing better and coming out ahead, but our negative equity just kept building and building and building.
The couple now owes $44,000 on their 2 cars combined, and even if they were to sell both of them, they would still owe roughly $20,000. And they are far from alone. Experts say the average person selling or trading in a car owes $4,200 more than the vehicle is worth. Analysts saying it's a brand new credit crisis in the making.
Right now, we're stuck with them. We've talked about letting at least maybe my pickup go back. The only problem with that is they're going to make us pay on that negative equity that's in it. And so we'll be paying for a vehicle that we can't even drive.
Cindy and Steve say they're done with trade-ins, and if given the opportunity, they'll buy used cars in the future.
Just kind of think to myself, God, how could you do that to yourself? Because really, I mean, we did this to ourselves, and now I just got to live with it.
And that's just one couple story. A lot more out there just like them. GMA's financial contributor Melody Hobson is here with her advice. So Melody, more and more Americans are carrying larger and larger car loans, and it's really starting to make them suffer.
This is a big deal. Well, let's start off with one important fact. Over 17 million cars are sold every year in this country. So that's a big number. The other thing that we know, the amount of debt people have for their cars is growing. Almost all cars are financed, so we don't go and write checks for these big numbers. The typical debt now on a car in this country is about $31,000. Now that's up $3,500 just from last year, and it's up over 40% in the last decade.
Ooh,
and the
so
big
it's an
reason,
epidemic.
Trading up. That's what's causing it.
But is this people not reading the fine print, or all of us fooling ourselves about what we're paying?
I have to tell you, we're fooling ourselves. So there's a couple of things. We're fooling ourselves because we're just looking at the monthly payment and saying, I can handle that. We're not thinking about the total amount that we're ultimately going to pay on the car. And then again, this idea of stretching a little bit to get a slightly better car.
And again, you said that that short-term loans always look worse than the long-term loans, but they don't do the math. We all don't do the math. I love it when you do this. Take us through the actual math on the short and long term.
So now you can get a 7-year car loan. For decades, you could only get 4 years. Now let's say you buy the typical American car. It costs about $24,000. You get a 6.9% interest rate, which isn't good. It's not bad. It's average. Over 7 years, you're ultimately going to pay over $31,000 for that car. Now, if you go with the typical 4-year loan at the same interest rate, ultimately you'll pay just over $28,000 for the car. It's a $2,900 difference. But here's the important caveat. You say $2,900, what's the big deal? There's a direct correlation with the people who are defaulting and those who are taking these longer loans.
And can you renegotiate a long-term into a short-term?
You can, absolutely.
But you have to pay more.
You can refinance a car, just like you refinance a house, at a lower interest rate, but it might mean a higher monthly payment.
All right, bottom line for everybody out there who can't pay the higher monthly payment, they're already in trouble. What do they do?
One of the things you can do, it's not going to sound great, you can trade down. You don't have to always go and get a better car. You could actually turn your car in for something less expensive.
And are they accommodating right now the dealerships because they see the squeeze is on the way?
Well, I think one of the things the dealerships definitely, the car companies and the finance companies don't want people defaulting on these cars. Repossessions are up. They were up 10% last year. They're expected to jump a lot this year because of the shaky economy. So I think they'll probably be more accommodating than you think.
All right. If you want to know more about how to go about it, how to do it right, Melody will answer all your financial questions at abcnews.com.
In a flash, be the first to know what's coming up on Good Morning America tomorrow with the GMA Daily Flash email. All the great insider details you want to know from GMA. Go to abcnews.com, click the GMA page, and sign up for the Daily Flash. And you can even enter to win the weekly GMA Flash gift bag giveaway. Sign up now.